Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you and Allah mercy and blessing. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of His grace and I was able to complete and present my research paper. Then, I would like to thank my supervisors, Ms. Aseptiana Parmawati MPD and Mr. Efransa SPDM Home, has provided support and helping me so that I can complete my research paper. Before going into the topic, please introduce myself. My name is Irma Suci Destia. ID number 1822021 class RG 2018 at the English Education Study Program, the Language Education Faculty of IKIP Siliwangi. This video was made to be submitted to the English Education Study Program Faculty of Language Education IKIP Siliwangi in partial fulfillment of final requirement for Bachelor of Education degree. So here I would like to present my research paper entitled Developing the Narrative Text Material Using Project-Based Learning Through Picture Series Media in Teaching Writing for Junior High School. In this presentation, it is divided into several topics including abstract, background of the research, objective of the research methodology, subject of the research, result, conclusion, and suggestion. For the first slide, we can see the abstract of my research. This research has been targeted to junior high school. The research about researching junior high school students in writing skills in narrative material using modules and using picture sets as media and the processing data using R&D method. And the next slide is background of the research. Based on the researcher experience, the researching teaching at Pagarito Junior High School found students have difficulty in writing English in narrative text material. Students always look understood. Even students always look bored, so the researcher tries to use this method to overcome this problem in this method. In this study, the researcher used writing skill. Writing is one of the competencies that must be taught to students. Students often complain and say it is difficult when the teacher gives assignment to students to write. Talking about writing in junior high school should be focused on many types of text, including narrative text. Borman 2002, as cited in Maiza and Nurchahyoko 2020, states that writing is a continuous processing of thinking and organizing, rethinking and reorganizing. In study, researcher using narrative text material. According to Abold et al. 2010, narrative is a story or in general its meaning tells a story. Stories generally have one or more events that run according to chronological time and the events are conveyed through several media. An event can qualify as a story if there is a change from the initial stage. As Edition Nails at 2008 defines narrative as a succession of events in this study, the research used project-based learning. According to Fatur Rahman 2016, project-based learning is a learning model that uses project or activities as a learning tool to activate attitude, knowledge, and skill competencies. The project itself can be interpreted as an activity that consists of many jobs and requires coordination and specialization of support staff to complete it. And in this study, researchers also use learning media as picture series. According to ARSA 2002, picture series is a series of activities or stories that are presented in sequence. With series picture, students are trained to reveal the scenes and activities in the picture. Whereas according to Suparno 1988, as cited at Lubis 2020, serial image media is usually colorful card or picture stacking. Serial image media can be made from paper that size is as wide as manual paper, which consists of several pictures. Picture series are some pictures that represent continuous events of a story with important information. These pictures can encourage students' desire and imagination to write narrative stories. Students will easier to write because these pictures have event settings that help them to improve their writing. The study of implementation picture series in common and many researchers have done it. And the next slide is objective. The research in this study will answer 4 questions that have been prepared, namely, For the first one, to identify the process of developing the narrative text material using picture series media in teaching writing for junior high school. And the second one, to investigate the feasibilities of developing the narrative text material using picture series media in teaching writing for junior high school. And the third, to find out the teachers and student responses toward the narrative text developed through using picture series. And the last one is to investigate the challenges in developing the narrative text material using picture series media in teaching writing for junior high school. And the next slide is research method. This research using R&D adapted by Board and Girl 1983 and adapted by Sugiono 2013 have 7 steps. The first one, potential problem. At this stage, the researcher obtains information based on the experience of the researcher as pre-service teacher, where to get information that in the school there is a problem, namely the lack of teaching media that can motivate students. Based on that, the researcher found the potential to develop media, namely modules, with narrative text material. And the second one is collecting information. At this stage, the data was obtained through the process of observing the learning activities carried out by the English teacher in 9th grade. And the third, gathering information. At this stage, the data was obtained through the process of observing the learning activities carried out by the English teacher in the 9th grade of PGRI 2 Bandung Junior High School. And the fourth, product design. The step taken by researcher to create a narrative text learning module is to design a learning module using Canva. Canva is a graphic design application that can be used to create modules because it has many attractive templates in terms of colors, image, and font that can be customized by users. And next, design validation. Product validation was carried out to determine the feasibility of the module developed by the researcher. Validation was carried out by 2 experts from IKIP Siliwangi and 1 English teacher from the school where the research was conducted. And next, limit trial. Researcher conduct a limit trial with 10 students. The stage of researcher conducting limit trials, namely researcher carrying out learning activities with students using modules with learning steps that are in accordance with the learning module used. Because researchers use project-based learning method, at the end of learning, students must complete the project contained in the module. And the next one is product revision. After conducting product trials on a limit scale, researchers found weakness in the module and made revision before conducting a large scale. And the last one is board trial. After the product revision has been carried out, the steps taken at this stage are the same as the limit trial stage, only differing in the number of subjects, namely as many as 24 students in different classes. The next slide is subject of the research. Subject and location in this study were carried out at 2 PGRI Bandung Junior High School. The subject in this research were 9th grade students with characteristic of low ability in writing. The next slide is result. This research produced a product, namely a narrative text module for 9th grade junior high school students. The purpose of this study was to identify the process, to investigate the feasibility, to find out the responses of teachers and students, and to investigate the challenges of developing narrative text material using project-based learning through picture series. The module development process carried out by researchers using the sage of Borg and Gall 1983, adaptation by Sugiono 2013 with stage potential problem, information collection, data collection, product design, design validation, design revision, and board trial. Prevising product and trial use of the product. The feasibility of the product is seen from the result of the validation carried out by 2 experts and 1 language English teacher. Expert 1 got 82.4% result with the fairly valid. Category Expert 1 gave input to change the type of paper material on the cover of the module. The validation result from Expert 2 are 86.2% with the very valid category, as well as the validation result from the English teacher who are included in the same category with 19.81% result, which means that the product can be used without revision. The researcher got good responses from teacher and students to the developed module. Through interviews, the research responded the module developed by the researcher had interesting features to use in learning activities. The students' responses were very good, as seen from the result of the questionnaires distributed in the limit trial and bird trial. The limit trial, which was participated by the student, resulted in 17.87% in the agree category. Well, the result from the bird trial participated by 24 students result in 87 in the strongly agree category. The high percentage increase indicates that students are increasingly agreeing with the development of the module carried out by the researcher. Although the results of the research are very satisfactory, researchers face a challenging situation in the process of developing a narrative text module using project-based learning through picture series. The challenges faced by research are the difficulty of finding references that match for the model being developed. Researchers also have difficulty determining an attractive design, however, that the model can attract students' interest in learning. In addition, when learning activities are less conducive because the male students is more dominant than female. Male students are so active that they sometimes make noise. Even in the developing narrative text material has a lot of challenges, but the researchers were able to overcome that problem. And the next slide is conclusion. From the result and discussion, it can be concluded that the first one, the process of developing narrative text material using project-based learning through picture series using the stage of Borg and Gall 1980, which was adapted by Sugiono to 2013. The steps include potential and problem, data collection, product design, design validation, design revision, and limit trial, product revision, broad trial. By carrying out all this process, it can be concluded that the development of narrative text material using project-based learning through picture series is going well and the product can be used. And the second one, the feasibility of narrative text material using project-based learning through picture series by out expert and English teacher are feasible. Feasibility data was taken from the validation sheet filled out by expert 1 with result 82.4%, expert 2 with result 86.2%, and English teacher with the result 19.10%. And the third, the teacher and student responses of narrative text material using project-based learning through picture series. This research got a positive response from a student limit trial, got the score 78.7 with agree category, and broad trial got the score 87% with strongly agree category. So it can be concluded that students gave good and positive response, and mostly student interest in learning using picture series. And the last one, the challenges when developing narrative text material using project-based learning through picture series are lack of reference sources, difficulties in the design process, and class situation is not conducive, but the researcher can overcome these challenges. And the last slide is suggestion for the teacher. It is recommended to teachers and all parties involved in learning to always innovate to develop material teach, to procedure better, more effective teaching material so that students are more enthusiastic in following the process learning. And the second one, for the student, it is expected the student will be more active in the learning process that has been taught by the teacher. The development of teaching material must be accompanied by high enthusiasm from students to be able to accept what has been taught through development of teaching materials. And last one, for other researcher, the researcher expects to be an idea or input to carry out further research for other researcher. Then can inspire to continue to innovate in research and develop of teaching materials. That's enough presentation about my research paper. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my research paper. I hope it can be useful. Sorry if there are many shortcomings or mistakes in this presentation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.